Welcome to Secrets from the Saddle podcast. I'm Sylvie Dow, your host, fellow cyclist, bike club founder, cycling coach, bike race junkie, just truly super passionate about cycling. My journey with cycling started 20 years ago when I opened a spin studio, started a women's race team, and founded a women's only cycling club called Cycle Fit Chicks. I'm super thrilled to reveal all aspects that make the world of cycling operate. I'm so excited to be able to bring you interesting people from around the world, pro cyclists, recreational cyclists, coaches, event organizers, bike shop owners, everything and everyone you need to know or ever wondered about when it comes to cycling. I know you'll enjoy this episode. Hey gang, Sylvie here from Secrets from the Saddle, All Things Cycling Podcast. And oh my God, guys, it's like 2 weeks away from Unbound Gravel. I am starting to freak out. Literally 2 weeks from today, the day that we did this podcast episode interview, I will be standing on the start line at 3 p.m. on a Friday, June 2nd, getting ready to take off to ride my bike for 36 hours. Absolutely ridiculous. And I want to share with you that I'm putting up some random live videos on my YouTube channel just as I go through all my prep and different things. I'm like, okay, I just want to share this. And they're just lives. They're not edited or anything. I just want to get information up there for you guys. So go to my YouTube channel, search Sylvie Dow, or Unbound. No, just search Sylvie Dow. I've tagged everything for Unbound, and check it out. Maybe if you're going for a long endurance event, some of these videos might help you with your prep and putting things together. But I do love just sharing how I'm getting things together. Like this week is going to be a huge week. I leave on Monday, the 29th of May, to drive to Kansas. So, I have to make sure my car is prepped. I've got everything so I don't forget it. Food, you name it. But anyways, let's talk about this episode coming up. We're going to be talking to Clarice, Claire Sayle, National Sales Manager at JAKROO USA. And I was just like, oh my God, I got a couple JAKROO jerseys. They've reached out to me because I'm a owner of a bike club here in town. And I've got emails for lots of kit designers. But I thought I'd reach out to these guys and see, just learn more about the business and how things work and things like that. So, interesting story about Clarice. She started with the company in 2016 when she was a Cat 1 road and track racer, and JAKROO was her sponsor. The next year, she quit racing to focus more on her role in the company. Claire was promoted from account manager to sales manager in just under 2 years. She works fully remote for the company, so she gets to go and travel around to different events, promoting, helping, volunteering in the name of JAKROO. So I'm super excited to have her on the podcast. And without ado, let's go meet Claire.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to Secrets from the Saddle, All Things Cycling Podcast with your host, Sylvie. Sitting here and I apologize if you guys can hear kids. You can see I'm sitting in my car. I'm in the parking lot of a school. I'm helping my friend here with a spinning studio because I used to have a spinning studio, and I'm helping him fix some bikes. So that's like my hands are all dirty. But we have the amazing Clarice, otherwise known as Claire Sayle. And she is the National Sales Manager for JAKROO. So if you're familiar with the JAKROO kits, we are super excited to have her here on the podcast. She's sitting in, I guess, is gorgeous Colorado. Your background's nice. She's in Colorado, but she gets to travel all around at different events. And I'm super excited, Claire. Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So I always love to get started with the first question is, how did you get into cycling? Because we know you have cycling background, but how did you get into cycling and then land a job at JAKROO? I want to know. We want to know.
Sure. Yeah. I actually started riding bikes because I had a very bad breakup. And yeah, it was like I was in my early 20s and I had like a longtime partner and it ended, and I didn't know how to cope. And I ended up finding my mom's very old rock hopper in our garage, and I started riding that around. And I realized that the only time I didn't feel like dying was when I was on that bike, and I just loved the freedom of it. So that's how I got into cycling. I'm a bit of an like all or nothing person, so I got into it in a big way. And cycling became my whole life really fast. So then I started working at bike shops. And through bike shops, yeah, I learned that people actually race bikes. When I first started riding and working in a bike shop, I had no idea that bike racing existed or was a thing. So yeah,
especially for women, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, I worked at a shop for close to a year and a half, and nobody talked about racing bikes. It just wasn't that type of a place. Yeah. So yeah. So then I learned about track racing first, actually. And I was in the Bay Area, and we were lucky enough to have a velodrome pretty close to us.
Okay.
Somewhat rare. Yeah, so I started racing the track and got into that pretty intensely. That was where I met Michael Hernandez, who was the sales manager of JAKROO at that time. They came on as my clothing sponsor. And I worked, yeah, and I worked pretty closely with Michael for a couple years as an athlete, and he was team director actually for JAKROO Racing. And after a couple years of doing that, he just sort of mentioned like, hey, if you ever want to work here, you should apply. Yeah. And so at TrackNats in 2015, I think, I broke my collarbone in a points race. So I was out for a few months, and I was like, man, what am I doing? You know, I should get a job.
Real job.
Yeah, right. Something that pays me. And so, yeah, I reached out to Michael and went in for an interview back in September of 2016. And I was so nervous. I sat out in my car before I went in for the interview, and I called my dad and I was like, should I leave?
Oh no.
Yeah.
What did he tell you? Get in there.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, what are you doing? You're there. Yeah. So JAKROO was my first like quote unquote real job. So they did end up hiring me, surprise. And yeah, so yeah, I was hired on as an account manager. And I just loved it right away. You know, what's unique about this job versus bike racing is that the harder and the more that I worked, the more money I made. And so that was novel.
Love that concept. You have to work pretty hard in the racing world to make money, because you got to beat out like 30 other people.
Yeah. And unfortunately, like a lot of it's not under your control, right? I mean, you can show up as prepared and as fit as possible, but you know, bike racing is unpredictable, and that's part of the appeal. But it also, it makes, you know, making a living off of it pretty difficult. So once I'd spent maybe a year at JAKROO, I decided to step down from racing and just focus full time on my career at this company.
Nice. So how did you move through? Like, you've been there for, we just estimated, what, 7 years? You've moved through the ranks quite quickly. How is that, like, just share a little bit about the company in itself, like all the just share about the company. I don't know a whole lot about it, and I'm curious.
Sure. So we're custom athletic endurance apparel. Our main market is cycling. And so we don't have like retail lines, right? Everything that we do is full custom, and we specialize in micro batching. And so we don't require any minimums. We could do one-off custom kit, if that's what you want. Yeah. So our philosophy is a little bit different. We tend to focus on, like the experience of each individual customer, and bringing their custom dream to life. And then of course that extends to like teams or events or corporations as well. But we really focus on prioritizing the individual.
I really like that because like back in the day, because I started racing 2005, and it was a different story back then. Like we had to pay per color. And you imagine, like, okay, that's why you get like 2 colors in a kit, because you can't afford to have like 3, and you had to have like larger minimums. And I can only think of one company that would actually, Champ Systems, and I don't know if they're around anymore, but they were the only ones back then that would do like one-offs or like, really, really small batches.
It's pretty cool. And we use heat sublimation. That's our process of printing. So there's unlimited colors. You can do all sorts of effects, like gradients are very popular. We even have like an embroidery section where we have some garments that you can embroider. It's pretty fun. And we have, so no minimums is the big thing. And then our other promise is 2 to 3 week delivery from the date of purchase. So I believe we're the fastest on the market, and that's full custom, not semi-custom. Here's
the other question. Since you're in the States, you have JAKROO Canada?
We do. Yes. There is like a subsidiary.
Yay.
Yes, absolutely.
And where are they located, Claire?
They are located in Vancouver.
Oh, okay, perfect. Because I'm like, I'm in Canada, so I always think of the exchange right now, which is horrific. Trying to buy stuff from the States is it's unbelievably expensive. But I know it, like being in Canada, I'm sure they have their prices accordingly, but
not worry about that. We typically, as a company, we typically cover all of that. Like I think you just pay the price that you see. There shouldn't be any additional like GST or anything.
Oh, really? Okay. Now we got to start talking.
We take care of that for you.
So you are just for cycling, but I think you do other stuff like trail running. Triathlon is probably still in the cycling, but what other products does JAKROO offer?
So cycling is our largest market, but we also cater to triathlon, Nordic, and we have an activewear line as well, and we have a couple casual pieces in addition to that.
Do you do shirts? T-shirts?
Absolutely. Well, they're not like, we don't do like a cotton t-shirt, but we do a tech tee.
Like who wants cotton anymore? Anyways, I'm like, no thanks.
I don't know if you want to work out in it. I don't
No, I'm like, well, I know this is a shirt that I love, and I picked it up at a bar, but nice. It's like the softest material. There might be a little bit of cotton, but it's not like a hard, stiff cotton shirt. And I'm like, I don't think anybody's into the cotton shirts too much. Well, maybe, but
I think that's a huge market as well. Yeah.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
So is there anything else you can share with us? Because I want to like extend this. Like tell us about all the events that you get, like you go to on a yearly basis, since you get to travel around.
Sure. Yeah. So once, COVID hit, obviously, and that threw everyone for a loop, and we became a fully remote company, and we're committed to, making a fully remote company work now. And once that happened, I was living in Oakland, California. And I was like, well, I don't necessarily need to be here. And I took it upon myself to be fully remote. I have a lot of flexibility and freedom, let's say. And so I just worked it out with my boss that, we could really grow our market, like boots on the ground marketing, by attending events and talking with customers, both current and future, and see, what the market really needs. So I probably go to anywhere between, I don't know, 20 to 40 events a year.
Wow.
And that's not all. Yeah, I mean, cycling is also my passion. I'm very into like endurance mountain bike specifically. So it's not all JAKROO sponsored events. That would be wonderful. I would love that, but it's not all JAKROO sponsored. But yeah, I travel around the country. This year we had the pleasure of sponsoring, a tour of the Gila. So I was just over there, and we were the jersey sponsor for them in New Mexico.
Wow. Cool.
Yeah, we sponsor an endurance mountain bike series called Zia Rides, which are all over New Mexico, Arizona, and Colorado. And so I've been to a couple of those. Armed Forces Cycling Classic is coming up in a couple weeks here in Arlington, Virginia. So I'll be over there for that. And then Tour of America's Dairyland, which is, I think it's 11 days now. I think they made it's either 10 or 11. I think they added an extra day of crit racing.
Where is that?
It's in Wisconsin, and it's the coolest race because it moves around like the Milwaukee area. So it's like a traveling circus.
Oh, that is super cool. Now, I know that I'm participating in a huge charity ride in Toronto in a short, like about 3 weeks. And it's the Ride to Conquer Cancer. And I noticed that their jerseys were JAKROO, and they were really nice. And that's why I was like, wow, these are nice jerseys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pardon?
So you should try us out.
I know. I've been with a company I've been with BME for a very long time. And I was just thinking that maybe it is a time for a change.
Yeah.
I like building long-term relationships, and but sometimes it's always good for a little switch up.
Yeah, and I like to say each, because there's a lot of companies in our space. And I like to say that each company has something maybe that's unique to them that they offer. That works for some people and maybe doesn't work for others. So I think it's important to take a look around and find out, like, what is the value to you personally, and then we can see if we can cater to that.
Yes. So speaking to that, tell us, can you share? Now, I like the fact that you can be like an individual solo athlete and decide to do your own jersey, or maybe you're sponsored, or and you can go and have it created without being an extraordinary expense. Can you share like some of the pricing for like a one-off?
Yeah, absolutely. So our jerseys range anywhere. If you're just getting one piece, one jersey, it's going to be anywhere from $99 to $149, depending on which one you get. And
that could be the design. Yep. And I think it's the quick turnaround that's probably the most attractive, right?
Yeah, exactly. The only other charges on top of that would be shipping and tax where applicable, but that's it. Everything else, design is included. The fast production and delivery time is all included.
Is that like when you talk a jersey, you're not talking the full kit? Like this is just like one shirt. Yeah,
that's the jersey, right? And then if you were to pair bibs with that, it would be another like $129 to $149, depending on what you get. However, so we do like tiered pricing. So if you just buy the one piece, you're going to pay one piece pricing. But if you buy more than one piece, even if it's a jersey and a bib, then it drops. It drops 20% 20%. Yeah. For 2 to 5.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, exactly. So,
That's
and
actually pretty good.
we've recently put a lot of work into updating our website. So we have a really cool system. I encourage everyone to check out www.jakroo, JAKROO.com. And we have like a dynamic pricing model. So you can always see like what you're going to pay. It's pretty simple to use, complex to explain, but simple to use.
Okay, so you can go in there and kind of price out your own kit
Exactly.
or order and then see. So what kind of a discount do you get for like big club orders?
Oh yeah. I mean, so it's by pricing tier. So if somebody's ordering in like the 50 quantity, you're going to be getting like somewhere around a 50% discount off that one piece pricing.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
We offer very generous discounts for larger orders, definitely.
That is good to know. That is good to know. So are you still competing now as a mountain biker?
I like to say
You get to ride?
I participate in events. I no longer race. That's my formal stance. Yeah.
So which ones have you participated in this year?
This year I haven't done anything yet. Like I said, endurance mountain bike is what I enjoy. I like 24-hour races.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I really like that. And I'm a single speeder. So
Oh, no way. You're not a I guess from being on track. I can't believe
exactly.
you do mountain biking on a single
Oh,
speed.
it's so much fun. It's so much
Okay.
fun. And the community is awesome. Like there's a
Okay,
very
explain the fun part because I'm like not seeing it.
um it's like mountain bike's all about like getting in your flow state. So
Yeah.
when you just have one gear, like there's nothing to worry about, right? It's like they call it rung what you brung. And yeah, I mean, most of the time it's going to feel like the wrong gear, but it is what it is. And like there's definitely some stuff I end up like pushing my bike up. There are some moments
Okay.
that I'm, totally spun out on a descent and just like tucked. But it's fun, and the bike is super light. I'm terrible with bike maintenance, and a single speed hardtail is very little maintenance. And then there's like, I've done a lot of races where you have like these little pitchy climbs, and the adrenaline rush when you get over one of those climbs, right? Like it's just makes it worth it. So so I've done 24 hours in the Old Pueblo 3 times, and I won it twice. I've done High Cascades 100, which is a 100-mile mountain bike in Bend, Oregon, I think 3 times. Thinking about doing it this year. I've done the 24-hour in Bend, Oregon a couple times. I've done a 24-hour race in New Mexico. I've done Tully Ride 100. And then I've done probably 2 dozen 12-hour races. Those are my favorite, actually.
So does JAKROO sponsor you to get in there? And do you do like a little tent and chat and talk about?
I'm always repping JAKROO. I drive around. I drive around the country in a JAKROO van. So I am JAKROO. Yeah.
That's another thing. That's a lot of driving.
Yeah, it is. It is.
So, okay. So since you drive, what do you do to keep what do you listen to? Do you have your favorite podcast?
I think that this is going to be my new favorite podcast. Yeah. But yeah, I have a couple. I don't know if you are familiar with Rich Roll.
No.
Oh, he's amazing. Yeah. So that's like, that's a great one. He often has like these very high performing athletes or just high performing humans in general. So I listen to those, and they're long. I mean, they're like 2 hours. Yeah, exactly.
I think I've heard of this guy.
Yeah, he's phenomenal. And then my friend does a podcast as well called Cycle Jerks. Yeah, and that's a fun one. He always has great guests on there. So yeah, definitely podcasts, typically around like performance or like athletic performance.
Mhm.
I tried to get into like listening to some business ones, but
How to financially stay.
yeah,
Oh
right.
my God. So
Yeah,
are you on your own all the time when you go driving?
I
Or do you,
am.
oh, so you really, oh, that's
Yeah.
pretty lonely. No teammate, not even once.
So we're remote now, and so our team is spread across the country. I do get to meet up with people every so often. When I was in New Mexico with Tour of the Gila, I have a colleague who lives in Tucson, so he drove
Okay.
up and we got to hang out. He took photos of the race. So that was fun. I got to see him then. Sometimes when I'm in the Bay Area, I get to touch base with my colleagues that are there.
Mhm.
At Tour of America's Dairyland, one of our reps from Georgia is going to fly up and help me out with, because it's 10 days and it's a lot. So she's going to come out and help me. Yeah, exactly. And she's super fun. So I
So
do
you're
get to,
like, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I do get to see, I'm not like by myself all the time.
I'm like 10 days, like 10 days in your tent.
Yeah, I do events a little bit differently. I actually don't I don't like put up a booth and try and sell.
Okay.
I work with the event. And so whatever
Okay.
whatever they need, I do. So it can be anything from like doing jersey presentations or being interviewed on stage about our company, I can do
Okay.
that. If they need like a course marshal, throw me on in there. Um,
Right.
so yeah, really whatever like holes they need to fill, I just help out, and am there mostly just building relationships. And my idea behind doing it that way is that it's a little bit more authentic and people
Mm.
typically see me around and they're like, who are you? Why have you been here for so long? And I say, oh, I'm here, JAKROO, we're the jersey sponsor. And then we start to have a conversation that's a little bit more like natural and organic versus me just like standing behind a booth saying, hi, have you heard of JAKROO?
Right.
So yeah, the approach is a little bit different and it's really fun. I enjoy it.
That's really cool, actually. I like that because it does get you out there and actually be participating in the whole event. And so you get to, be on site and instead of like just like you said, sitting in your tent for like X number of
Yeah,
hours, bored
right.
out of your mind, seeing some people not, yeah, I like
Yeah.
that concept.
At Toad, Tour of America's Dairyland last year, and they're an excellent organization to work with, by the way. They even had me, like I got to be there for the call-ups for like the pro men, and I got to shake, and the pro women, and I got to shake all their hands and welcome
Oh,
them. That
sweet.
was totally cool. Yeah.
I love it. So is there anything else you can share with us, Claire, that our listeners will want to take away? Did we miss anything on JAKROO? Well, what's coming down the pipeline? Is there anything exciting?
Oh, there's always stuff brewing.
All right, what's brewing?
Yeah, we're lucky to work with a team called Project Echelon. And they're like our UCI men's team. They dominate racing in the States. And so we've been working with them on some new product that should be coming out probably early next year, I would say. But yeah, with a focus on aerodynamics is what I'll say now.
Oh, well, very nice. Are you working with any female athletes on improving female chamois, maybe?
Oh,
I'm thinking
well,
about some ones I have. I'm like,
I
oh my
admit,
God.
I tend to test our stuff.
Yeah.
If you have a problem with any of our female products, let me know. I test a lot of our gear. We work with some female triathletes. Tamara Jewett is the one that we're working with right now, and she's like the voice of females for our tri line. We're making a big push in triathlon this year. Yeah, so she's helping us with that.
Oh, awesome. Because I'm just thinking of some of the chamois that I've tried. I'm like, oh my God, I don't know who puts these together, but they are. I'm like, no.
Yeah. I think we have the best bib shorts on the market.
Oh, do you have cargo bibs?
We do. Absolutely.
Oh.
And we have chamois options. So, we have like the chamois that it comes with, which I think is great. It's called D20. I wore that chamois like in 24-hour races, no problem. But we have an upgraded option as well. And then once I tried that, I will never go back. So we have we take customization pretty seriously. So we try to offer options for a lot of different things.
That's really good to know, because it's nice. I'm seeing more stuff like that where you can kind of tailor, well, maybe not so much yet, but it is nice to be able to put together what it is that you want to purchase. Because I know chamois are like bib shorts are a really personal thing.
Yeah.
And we try and sell some with our kit, but it's really hit and miss for people.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, because if they don't get to try them on because it's an online order, things like that, that's kind of sensitive. And it's like, yeah,
exactly. And we try and address that as best we can. I mean, it is difficult. You're buying sight unseen, and these things are expensive, right? It's not like a $20 pair of jeans. So what we do that I think is unique to us is we do offer like size replacements and exchanges. And, like we have an excellent customer service team. Our main priority is that you're comfortable in your gear. So if ever anybody gets something from JAKROO that they don't like, we won't stick you with the product. We'll find something else, that either a different size that fits better or a different item completely. Because we want you comfortable in what you're wearing.
Yeah, that's great to know, because customer service, again, for a lot of companies are almost number one, right? Like reviews, customer service, of that nature. So where can everybody find you? Obviously, jakroo.com.
Yep.
And what socials? Where's JAKROO?
So we're at JAKROO USA, JAKROO USA. There's no C in our name. JAKROO USA on Instagram. We also have JAKROO Canada on Instagram as well.
Awesome.
And then JAKROO on Facebook.
Perfect. Well, I want to thank you so much for taking the time. Finally, yay!
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thanks for working with my schedule.
I know it's we're all so busy, and I'm really blessed and grateful that you're able to fit us in and share everything about JAKROO on our podcast for our listeners. So I encourage everybody to go check them out, because I know some people like to have like really cool tailored jerseys, and here's a great option to put your own design on a jersey or work with their designers and get something that's unique to you. So thank you so much. And don't forget, everybody, follow JAKROO, follow the podcast on Instagram and on YouTube. And I wish everybody that you have a great week. Thanks a lot, Claire. Take care, everyone. Bye. All right, friends, there you have it. A quick, sweet, and very informative podcast episode with Claire from JAKROO. And we spent a little bit of time talking about making transitions, their products, and also, just getting into some gear, which I'm super excited about. So if you have a club or a group, a small group, so remember she said that they cater to small orders, single orders. This is the place or the product or the company to look at. So if you have I know I have a friend who has a small group, and I think this just might be the ticket for her. So check them out. And I look forward to hearing if you use them for your cycling group. So take care, everyone. Have an amazing day, and don't forget to ride your bike. Thank you so much for spending this time with me on the Secrets from the Saddle podcast, learning more about sighting people, places, and things that make cycling such an exciting sport. I am so glad you stopped by today. please leave me a review if you feel so moved to do so. I would love to hear your feedback. And if you could take 1 second to share this episode with someone you think would enjoy it, I would be forever grateful. Also, if you could please leave me a review if you feel so moved by going to iTunes and leaving me an honest thought and an honest comment, telling me what you think, and most importantly, tell me what you'd like to hear more of. It would really help me to bring more great, inspiring cycling stories to you. Until then, have an amazing day. Make sure you ride your bike. And don't forget to visit my YouTube channel if you'd like to see the full version of this podcast live.